Hello, it's Dr. Emrich here, the Social Prof, and today I want to talk about this great book. If you haven't read it yet, it's really a thinker, and it's by Hank Green. It's his first novel. He is a very famous YouTuber, and it's called An Absolutely Remarkable Thing. And it has a lot to do with social media and how it affects society. And it goes through a journey of a character called April May, and some of the decisions that she makes and where they take her on her journey of becoming a celebrity because of social media. And there's really a lot to be learned in this book. So if you don't have it yet, I really recommend it. It's a great read. If you're one of my students, you can just email me or in the comments section, tell me that you want one of these books and I'll tell you how to get them. Or if you're a Tri-C student where I teach, I can tell you how to get one of these books for free as well. But even if you have to pay for it, it's absolutely worth it. It is a page turner, and like I said, it's very, very, very relevant to what is going on in our world today. And just to highlight that, I want to talk about a couple of the quotes from the book. I've been using them in my classes to talk about marketing and branding. And the last quote I will talk about, really, it gives some great advice about branding a product or service. So I'll highlight some of these other quotes that I've come across in the book as well. The first one is, just because you can't imagine something doesn't mean you can't do it. And this book is just full of thinking quotes like that that really make you think about it. Like, maybe if I can't think about how to do it, how am I ever going to do it? But I always say there's always a way. You have to find a way. So you kind of have to break through that and get things done. And in this book, he does a good job of reminding us of things like that and really, really making us think about doing some things that maybe we otherwise didn't think that we could do. The next one I have is the power that each of us has over complete strangers to make them feel terrible and frightening and weak is amazing. And this is really scary. And I've talked to a lot of friends and people about how social media, people have just gotten out of the world of social media because they say it just makes them feel like crap, and people are bragging. And so it makes us feel, bad about ourselves, or we could be really having a great day and we get on social media and start reading, and then we start to feel really bad about ourselves, right? So it really is strange how social media affects our mood. And there is a way to change or reframe social media so that it doesn't do this to you. And I've had to do that. I've come from a place of this, of, not liking social media, to a place where I find it absolutely essential and I love it. But it wasn't without effort. I had to reframe how I think about social media. And I talk a lot about those things in my classes and really help people understand that if you design your profiles differently and make it more about information and learning and less about being social with people, you can really learn to love social media again. And the book really does a great job of reframing it and talking about it in a different light as well. You can only do so much pretending before you become the thing you're pretending to be. So I don't think he means that, like, if you want to be a singer, you can pretend to be a singer and you will be one. It's more, if you're trying to pretend to be somebody else, you'll eventually be that person. And do you really want to be? Do you really want to be somebody that you're not? And in this book, the journey that some of these characters go through, they end up being somebody that they're not. And I don't think they really like it. But you get to think about that as you're reading the book. So it reminded me of this other quote that I like to say is, I'd rather be rejected for who I am than be accepted by pretending to be somebody I am not. And that's really been hard for me in my life to accept. But I have to think about this all the time and really understand that pretending is no fun, and social media can sometimes make it very easy for us to do that. I've talked to a lot of people about this quote. So my phone felt like it weighed 10 pounds in my hands and I almost fell asleep. But then I realized I'd been neglecting Facebook. So it just talks about the weight that social media puts on us. If we sit down to relax or if we sit down to go to sleep and we think, oh, my phone's, clear across the room, I got to go get it because who have I not responded to? Or maybe I'm going to miss something that's going on. And so it can really weigh heavily on our lives. And what's the impact of that? And how do we overcome that? Because we really don't want to be, we don't want Facebook or any social media platform to dictate our sleep schedule or our relaxing schedule. So the last quote I'm talking a lot about in my marketing classes, and I love it, and it's just a great way to think about branding because it's in branding it's so important to differentiate yourself. So it says branding is something designers think about a lot. You take something like a perfume or a car tire or a butt flavored bubblegum and you ask questions about it that you shouldn't be able to ask. What kind of tuxedo would this car tire wear to prom? Or what is this perfume's favorite movie? You try to end up in a place where you understand a product as if it were a person. And this was remarkable when I read it because branding is so much about differentiating yourself. So you have to think about things differently and you have to ask different questions. And so it's a really profound quote, and the examples are kind of crazy, but that's what you have to be as a marketer and as a brander. You have to ask those tough, difficult questions, and you have to kind of reframe from thinking like about things as people think about them or as your competition thinks about them. You want to think about them different and think about them as if they were a person so that your potential customers can really understand your product or service as if it was a person. So the book continues to talk a lot about branding and these characters as they're trying to brand their product and themselves as well. So it's a great lesson and really gives us something to think about. So I really encourage you to read the book, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. There's a lot more quotes, and I'm going to be highlighting them. They have a lot to do with marketing, great marketing lessons for us. So if you have any insight or any good quotes that you have from the book, please add to the comment section. I'd like to hear what you'd have to say, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get more updates from me and more good quotes and lessons from this book and other social media tips. So thank you, and remember to love your social. We can learn to use it the right way.